All right. Hi, guys. Hey, everybody. And welcome to Sunday. Um, I, 1 second. Hey, Imran, yes. Sunday is no off day, so to speak. But yeah, I wanted to start with a big thank you, everybody that joined yesterday. And uh, One of the suggestion was the data layers, and I wanted to show you in the beginning a little bit of that, and just my 5 minute type of discovery into data layers, and what I was what I'm at least currently doing with them, and I believe. Let me just move some of these windows over here. Let me just show you what I did. Also as an update, I did upgrade OBS to the latest version and also my graphics drivers. And one thing that you'll notice, and hopefully, I'm gonna knock on wood that this is not gonna happen, for the crash. uh, that message that was happening here with the, kind of, 1,000 megabytes or something, your performance is going to be horrible, or, that red message that was happening. So I haven't seen it um after starting to use the data layers, and I'll show you what I'm doing with the data layers. I haven't fully tested it out yet, but at least kind of the setup of it, because you'll see there's some levels around here that are not showing anymore. And there's like this one actually still is, and we'll use this one as an example as to how the data layers work and what I did. It's probably, again, this is like 5 minutes of looking at the documentation, and this is what I ended up with. So definitely, might not be the right way to do it, but at least for me, it seems to be working. And there you go. We have that message again. The the one good thing about it is that it's not in like the 2000 megabytes as it was before. And I think in some locations, like around here, it even goes away, depending on how much it needs to load. So let's take a look at the what it involves in setting up the data layers. And so first of all, on the window, there's going to be the world partition, and here you got the data layers outliner. And so this little pop-up window shows up, and you'll see currently I have one data layer. And the way this is done, or at least the way I have done it, is we have this mobile home selected, this level. So let's go to it. It's this level over here. So what I want to do, just to speed up load time, whenever I load into this map, and also kind of giving me the ability to show or hide some of these levels, I assign each one of these. This is a level instance. So I assign each one of these to a data layer asset. I'm not entirely sure why some of the documentation slash tutorials I've found were around data layers and not data layer assets. And I can't seem to be able to add a data layer to a level instance. I haven't actually tried to add it to just a single asset. So for example, if I was to select like one of these cliffs, see, this one doesn't have the option to add a data layer either. So I'm not sure if they're like deprecating this and moving towards data layer assets. But anyways, so let's take a look at this one, this particular one. So it's got a bunch of stuff in it. And what I did is I'm just going to add a new data layer asset here. And I've already created one. So in order to create one of these, I'm just going to assign one here. you can actually just create it right here, create data layer. So I'm going to select the one that I've created. And as you can see right now, everything, this level gets unloaded. And the way that's set up is, first of all, let's look at the data layer that I created. So this is pretty basic. There's not a lot of stuff happening here. So you got runtime or editor. I haven't investigated. I'm assuming if it's at runtime, it will load. Once it's at runtime, if it's editor, it might load all time. And but the main setup when you hide and unhide these is right here. So if you need to drag this. So once you created the data layer, what you would do, like for example, mine is just here. So you would just drag it into here, um, and it will get added to the list of data layers. So once this one is added, you can select it and you can show, you can hide it or unhide it. So what's going on at this point in the background, you're probably not seeing it because it's on a separate window, separate screen. It's actually loading the level instances, the ones that have not been loaded yet. And now if I was to navigate around the level, you can see like the video memory has been exhausted, is showing up again because there's like a ton of stuff loaded and that is poorly optimized. But you'll see like everything, all the other levels have started, are currently loaded into the world. So if I was to unhide this, everything is now unloaded. And so thank you to, I believe it was Panda that suggested it yesterday as a solution to also kind of manage the assets in the world and also help with performance. And again, this is showing up again. I'm not entirely sure why, but hopefully it's just gonna not crash the engine. As you can see, it's oddly it's a very odd type of um, um, statistics, or because it drops, right? So right now it like dropped to like 200, and I I'm finding very little information on. I know it's probably related um, to Lumen in parts and DirectX 12, but what DirectX 12 gives you is a much better performance from what I can tell over DirectX 11, but it also brings in this thing here. So I'm not sure again if this is a hardware type of thing, if it's how much, the fact that as to what has exhausted my video memory, that's my that's why I can't figure out why this is happening. So still investigating what that is. But yeah, I wanted to show you a little bit of what data layers are about and what I'm hoping to use them for. The main thing about it is, even though this shows up, it is at 4 to 500. It's not at 2 to 3,000 like it was before. So it helps a little bit to manage that, and hoping for not that many crashes. Yeah. So Cursor, hey, welcome. All right. Well, so yeah, that was kind of one of the updates that I wanted to show at the beginning. The other one is mostly around decals, and you kind of it's a question is like, why decals? So let me show you what I mean by that. And I'm gonna get a couple of enemies in here just so that we have somebody to fight. And since I'm gonna spawn right here, I'm gonna add just a rifle, just something they can pick up. All right, and so the the decals are mostly around bullet impacts, and you'll soon see why. All right, so where did I put that thing? There you go, it's right there. All right. Uh, and I forgot this is the part where it collides um, with the foliage volumes. So let me just move those a little bit up so it doesn't. So like all of these, just gonna scooch them up. Let's see, where are they? There. And hopefully the weapon is not gonna is not gonna overlap with it. All right, let's give this another try. Hey, Atlantica, welcome, welcome. All right. Yeah, so what I was saying with the impact, with the bullet impact is literally, let's see, it's literally this. So like all the, I'm just gonna turn down the volume a little bit because it's a little loud. Not sure if you can hear it. I've turned the desktop audio as well. So, you know, whenever you fire at the ground, there's like all these kind of bullet impacts, right? Depending on the surface. You know, this is dirt around here. I'm not sure if I've set this one to be wood. Maybe I didn't, so I probably need to do that. Let's see, is this one rock? Yeah, I guess, or it might have been rock. Maybe it's, uh, yeah, it's actually rock. As you can see, there's like a bunch of just kind of rock-like particles being, you know, uh, just just being thrown around. And you know, this one over here should be more like grass. Then I'm not entirely sure if I set this to wood. Let me see. And this one's wood. As you can see, there's like, oh, actually no, I think it might be just the default, so I need to set that one to wood. But let's also go about with some of the enemies, because those guys are going to be flesh. So let's take a look at these guys. It's a little chaotic, but hopefully you can see a little bit of the kind of the splashes. Let's see if I can get a little closer. These guys do deal damage, so yeah. So that's what that's what I was talking about. And you know, the splatter also goes on whatever surface is behind them, and of course, you know, kind of like this, right? It's a little bit gory, so it's definitely a little bit overdone, but yeah, I'm gonna tone that down. It's just a little bit too much for um, for the splashes, so to speak. So yeah, whenever you hit like a flesh, that surface is flesh, you know. So whenever you hit that, it creates that the kind of those blood decals, and they're also you know, they would splash on the surface behind them. And yeah, let's see, this one's concrete over here. This one's dirt. You know, this one's just grass. Yeah, so that was another thing that I did yesterday. Um, and the last one that I wanted to show is this part where I'm trying to get, you know, for the UI when it comes to the mission UI. And I've experimented with having the tablet, you know, pulling the tablet with your arm, which would be kind of, you know, not cumbersome, but it would look a little weird when you're in combat, you know, to like, you know, hit Q to look at the quests, and that your left arm is taken off the weapon, and you know, you pull up the tablet. So and then I thought, okay, let's do like the little microphone on your headset maybe, where it would just kind of come down in front of your face, and you can look at it that way. It would be like a 3D object as well. And that one also felt that one kind of worked, but the problem with that was if it's on a different format window, like, full screen here versus, like uh, a different format than 16 by 9 or something like that, that would get positioned based off of that. So what I'm experimenting with now is having something like this. It's still in a very rough stage, but by pressing Q, you can you know, um, hide or unhide this. And, maybe I can do a little bit of design so it looks like kind of slightly like a hologram type of thing, like if you think of the Google Glass, right? That's what example I bring up all the time. It would be like a couple of like just a little bit of an outline around the edges so that it would look like it's a kind of like a device type of thing holding it. Um, but I felt this would be, yeah, so this is kind of how it looks, when it gets pulled in. I still need to do the animation when it actually slides back. It's is I just didn't have I don't have that working just yet. But but the main thing is now you don't have to, hold down a key to like pull up the the device in front of you. And um, it also doesn't take up, it also looks like a device, right? It's not the typical compass at the top, then the mission on the left hand side in the corner. And so when it comes to the directions, those are over there, right now they're kind of mispositioned, with the 90 meters. So that could, I also plan on, adjusting those to look like they did um, in the in that device, when you had that device. And while I liked to have the device like the actual 3D object in front of your camera, like I said, the issue was when you go into ADS mode like this, you know, um, the field of view is smaller, and then that 3D object, being a 3D object, is kind of going to fall back, and you're only going to see half of it. So it also looked a little odd when you do that. And the main thing is with the different format screens, that would make it look pretty odd as well. And that's why I decided to go with this. It's got a little bit of a, kind of a little bit of emissive to it, and transparency to it. So I kind of like that. It makes it look slightly hologramish. So, and it conveys like the message. I was testing it around in different kind of different lighting scenarios. Like for example, if you were to go inside, and I don't think I can like actually climb over this one. But if I was to go in the basement, it also looks pretty good, and it's easy to read. That was like the main kind of a little bit of a concern that maybe if it's a different lighting environment, it's not gonna look so good. And so yeah, so if we go back here in the basement, it's still pretty readable, you know. I'm guessing I'm hitting some kind of landscape proxy here. I need to make this work a little bit better when it comes to the way the weapon itself is the weapon is thinking that it's hitting something. That's why it's just kind of it gets pulled back. Cursor, oh, thank you so much. And Atlantica, yeah, it's kind of the same color. I would say maybe there's, if I recall correctly from like Crisis, there was like the the UI was a little slanted, and I wanted to have it a little slanted like this, just so that it feels like it's 3D. But yeah, okay. Um, so aside from that, actually, I think I might have fixed the game. So, well, actually, maybe I haven't. Sorry. You can still play it, but yeah, I need to. It's something related to the post-process volume in here that I just need to that I need to address. All right, so that those were kind of the main updates from yesterday. And also the other thing is I was talking about the NPCs. So let me take a look at this guy here. So what you'll notice is, he's naked, of course. But I was telling you that I'm gonna have one single skeleton and then apply the skin melanin change to the material, so that way, giving them a different skin color, and so that way I can have only one skeleton and one body basically, which is just this one, tall, normal weight body. I think I might have used actually underweight. Let me see. Probably not using the right one. Male skeletal mesh. Oh yeah, there we go. So it should have been this one actually. There we go. Okay. So I've added this one variable and it's aptly named skin melanin, which is what it is. And so now I can, it's a little hard to like sample, like this. You never end up with the right, with the proper color. So I basically just keep it like this, and I try to just adjust it with the slider. And once I get pretty close, maybe a little more. Yeah, so see, I'm trying to get into the ballpark of where the face is, trying to get the body to be the same or as close as possible, because you won't see this separation line anyways. And let's kind of dress him up a little bit, and I'll put in some clothing, and you'll see what I mean. Let's see. Let's give him a fancy jacket here. There you go. This is a pretty slick jacket. We'll do this one here. Yeah, so see, it's pretty difficult to tell. Like this doesn't have a t-shirt, so you can probably see like the separation here. But yeah, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between his hands and how, the hands are not that far into um, into your view to be able to tell the difference between the hands and the face, the face skeletal material. Yeah. Oh, Alanika, still need to learn how to make the metahuman move with the body without breaking the animation. Oh yeah, and if you have any questions, I can show you how I did mine. Not sure if you also use ALS, but in the case of this one, what I'm doing is it's mostly in the facial animation blueprint. So yeah, let me know if you want me to show you any of that. All right, let me put some pants on this guy. Oh, I see, I see. You're not using that anymore. But this one still applies. So if you still want to check it out, I think the method might still work. All right, so there we go. We got some pants, we got some shoes. Oh man, this guy is dressed to impress. All right. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. The other update on the skin melanin um, material, variable, so to speak. So yeah, here is what I did. One second. Sure, something is stuck to my mouse. It's just scraping on the mouse pad. So weird. Okay. So this is what it is. Let me just go and open this one here. All right, so here's my NPC. Let me just save this real quick. Um, so with the face, you know, there's the main mesh, and then all the body parts with the grooms are down here. But then for the face, I'm setting the face with the skeletal mesh, which is let's see, where is the skeletal mesh for the head? Um, so if we were to look at one of these guys, let me see, face. So that's how I'm setting the head skeletal mesh through this variable. You know, the head skeletal mesh is Lucian here, and so I'm using this set skin assets and update, but only on the face. And all the other body parts, they follow. If you go all the ways to the end, I'm also doing this set skin asset and update. But all the way at the end, all the body parts are gonna have the leader pose component from the mesh itself, which in this case is the ALS. Okay, now after that, you know, setting the groom assets with their binding assets for each one of those. Let's see, adding dialog data, and I think that's about it. Now, if we look at the face, let me see, where am I setting the face anim blueprint? Okay, so the face anim instance here, it's basically the one that comes with every metahuman. So in here, what I'm doing, in order for the face to follow the body, I'm actually getting the source um, mesh component, which in this case, let's take a look here, and let's look for source. So I'm setting the source mesh component here on the face anim blueprint. So I'm getting the face, which I already have it, and I'm getting the anim instance, you know, casting to it, and then I'm setting the mesh, basically the body, to be that source mesh component. And in the face anim blueprint, I'm just copying the pose from that mesh. And this is a state to be, this is prior to focus on player, basically prior to adding any of the facial animations, you know, the focusing on the player, you know, moving of eyes and all that. So that's how I'm doing it. Hopefully that helps, Atlantica. Hey, 3Die, bienvenue. Hello, hello. Okay. Um, well, so this one is it's still back to that same count. What what generates that? I have no idea. But hopefully I'll figure it out at some point. I'd love to share that with you guys. But yeah, it started off with nothing, and now it's a like it looks like a memory leak. I'm not even sure what it is. It's just pretty odd. Anyways, um, so those were some of the updates, you know, with that the way I'm doing the UI, some of the changes that I did last night, along with the particle effects for the bullet hits. Um, yeah, so I was thinking for today is maybe just gonna try and close some of these tabs. Maybe it's just gonna reduce that message, reduce the chances of crashing. I was thinking of working in just a kind of a again in a limited area, and you know, working on this warehouse here. You know, kind of just do what we did over with the substation here. You know, you know, put some fence up, some edging, and you know, fixing up the terrain so it matches you know, it matches with the grocery store here, and maybe adding some concrete, like some asphalt for this. So yeah, that's what I'm was thinking of doing for for the rest of the stream. Just continuing, continue with building the world here. All right. Well, so I'm gonna try and save as often as I can because again, I'm not entirely sure how this is gonna go. Um, like literally, I was in the same scene earlier, and this was at 0. Now it's at 4,000. Ah, like I said, no idea. All right. Um, so I'm gonna start with the fencing, and we already have a ton of these that got done yesterday, so might as well just use it. Just gonna start with like a corner and bring it to about there. Try to position it. And luckily having this corner piece makes it a little bit easier, well, actually quite a lot easier to gauge where the things are at. There we go. All right, so from here it should be pretty easy to just adjust um, these I scatter tools to be all the way to here. And let's see, how many do we need? How many instances? 26, that should be enough. And then we'll also create a road kind of linking back behind here. Like this road going that way. All right, so now that we have that corner, let's add this one in. I think it might have could do with 25 probably. There we go. All right, so let's just get this one and position it right over there. I really like this packages. Uh, there's like modular packages out there, and some of them are somewhat modular. They're not perfect. But this one, considering how close things need to match, it's actually quite impressive because you're kind of matching all the way down to like this little single point right there, and to match it so that you don't see it. All right, and then I just need to, come on, can I select this? Yes. And let's do this one 90. Is it 90 or, yeah, 90, negative 90, and negative 90. There we go. So these uh, are right in the right spot. I'm going to go ahead and try and, we're going to need to reduce the number of instances here and to about there, I would say. Let's see. Maybe one more. Can we do one more? Hmm, I think that's good. And we'll use the same thing to kind of cap it off. Though this one's going to be made out of 2. So let's use this one again. But I want to select the corner last because the corner is the one that I'm interested in to position it. So there, like that. And let's rotate it. Try and bring it, hopefully it's going to get as close as possible. Let's adjust the rotation for this. There we go. And now this one, I just need to extend this out a little bit. I think that should work. Let's just try and place them next to each other. There. Should I move it one more? Yeah, I think one more could do. And sometimes this doesn't really work, so I need to click on it to make it work with the mouse wheel. All right, so let's try and adjust this. There. Perfect. So this one goes all the way up to here. The entrance could be right here in the middle. The road is going to come back between these buildings, and we'll add some of the edging, just like we have around here. We'll add that alongside the edge of this, just to mask where the kind of where the ground is going to be. All right, so remember to save. And last piece is going to be just going to use this again because we're on this side and it's going to be easy to move. Come on. So there we go. Just rotate this into place. And I'll try and get it positioned best as possible. Yeah, you can see there's just a tiny gap there. So let's make it snap together. There we go. All right, and then this piece is going to need to have a little bit less instances and set the rotation for it to 180. There we go. And now right there in the middle, we just need to add the entrance gate. And for this one, I am not sure if this one would be tall enough for like a semi or whatever those big trucks are there. Yeah, we'll see. I guess it's actually quite a big gate. So I think that might be big enough. Yeah, that should be good enough. All right, let's place this one. So remember I was telling you about the modularity of this. We'll see how well this fits. I'm going to keep it somewhere here in the center of that little piece and add a couple of more to this one, a couple more instances. Let's do 9, maybe 10. Okay, so I think that's where we're going to have that. So now let's just try and bring these together. There we go. Now the moment of truth is going to be on this side. And there we go. That's actually, like I said, this particular package, the modularity of it is exemplary. I love how good that one's done. All right. Well, let's like I said, let's also add some of the some of this edging, and that's gonna be one of these from here. Imran, so are you using only free assets? I have bought some of them, but I would say most of it is free. I have bought, like for example, I did buy this warehouse package. It was on like a really big discount at one point, and that's how I got it. And the same thing for this substation. Of course, it didn't start off with this. You know, I've added these kind of these shipping containers in, but yeah, it was like $3 or something like that, very cheap. Um, yeah, I mean, and I also use quite a lot of like when it comes to the outfits, they're all from Sketchfab, and you know, I've actually created like a collection in Sketchfab for the assets to uh, when I create the credits to add them to my dynamic list of credits, you know, to give credit to the people that made those. But yeah, so cursor, it's the plan for today is to finish off these parking lots here, you know, and you know, kind of finish off this area here, you know, link into this road, this back road back here, create a connecting road over here, you know, finish off the road that goes all the way to the end right here, and that's pretty much what the plan is for today. Hopefully that's gonna turn out okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna use this to to place it right around here, you know, and let's see how that's gonna turn out. Because what I want to do is I want to use this. Hopefully you'll get the idea shortly to kind of to use this around the outer perimeter of the uh, of this um, of this warehouse. So let's take a look. Basically, what I try to do is start it over here. You know, this is just going to be a corner there probably, and there's going to be another one going this way, just like this. So that way I'm kind of masking the edges of the um, of this parking lot for the warehouse. And we'll do some finer adjustments here. Well, as best as we can at the moment. All right, now this one, just gonna scooch it over a little bit this way. That way I can gain a little bit more room for like a road back here. Let's see, sometimes the cursor moves from away. So I'm gonna try and do the, oh, actually the pivot. So let's do set pivot offset here so I can just like kind of move it this way. Okay, so now that that's in place, let's adjust the road. Now I wish I could make a bend over here, but I'm not entirely sure if this one is gonna be, this mesh would be able to work that well. Let's see, because I would like to use this if possible, maybe. But if it can't, maybe it's just I'm trying to push it too much. We'll see. Not too bad. I think that might work. We'll try and adjust these points a little bit because it's all based on these spline points and how well they deal with the bend. All right, so I'm just gonna need to meet this about where this road is, and especially where because I'm trying to have the spline sculpted terrain right above, right around where this kind of edging is at. In between, let's see, in between those two boundaries, you can have a walkway instead of road. Um, do you mean like back here, Imran? See, try to get this one a little bit that way. Let's see how much of a mess this creates. Not too bad. I could actually move it up a little bit. Let's try and move this down and move this one slightly up. Oh, do you mean like between the warehouse and the grocery store? I was just thinking of having a road. Oh, no worries. Um, and like I said, this is the main reason for me streaming because I feed off of you guys as well. So, uh, ideas be flowing. All right, let's see. How do we want to do this one? Maybe can we turn it on a little bit that way some more? That's good. It's not the one that I was trying to select. It was this one. Let's try and make this road a little tighter around around that edging, kind of like that. There we go. That's pretty good. Let's see if I can move this one this way without damaging it too much. That'd be cool. I mean, this bend doesn't look too stretched out. I was afraid that, having this bend in here will just make it a little too crazy. Let me see, maybe pull this out a little bit more this way. Like this. Yeah, that could work. And this one, move it to about there. Okay, that's pretty good. And for this one, I can reuse it on this side. Seems this one is a little bit high. So let's try and move it down a little bit. And there we go. We got that side as well. Maybe do we want to move it that way a little bit more? And let's see. That's On the x-axis, this is like that. Let's raise it up a little bit to about there. I think these points are not perfectly flat either, so like I might need to adjust this one to go down a little bit like that. All right, so now let's go ahead and try and sculpt terrain based on the splines again. This one, set that to 0. Okay, cool. And let's try and get this one. I think that's about where the road would be. And this piece could be on this side as well. A lot less number of instances, of course. And let's try and get this in so that it's covering that. There you go, just like that. Okay, well, let's do the corners here because there's like a little bit of a different mesh for that one. I just need to make sure that I'm placing these as best as possible. So 11, 12. See if that's going to be a little one too many. We'll see here in a little bit. It's almost there. Okay, that could work, actually. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I can just move this out a little bit this way. So that way we got we can put in like one of the actual corners. Let me find one. So this is one, but that's the one with concrete. See if I find one. I guess I need to just adjust the material for that concrete. So I'll show you what I mean. This is going to fall right there into place. And let's grab the material for it. Where is the mesh? There we go. So something like that. Now we just need to try and do the placement here. And some of the scaling. I don't think I've scaled this mesh properly when I first made it. So there it is. Okay, pretty decent. Let's try and make these kind of match, like these two roads. And this one, what I'm trying to do is, as you've seen me do before, is try to get this one to be right above the level where the one that is meeting it is. And from here, I'm going to place another point, because I want this road to end back there. But this one, this point here, what I wanted to have is, it's kind of hard to tell, but if you see there's this little like dotted line, so I need to have that on this side, which is this one here, I need to have that as small as possible. So now I'm going to try and see if, and at the same time, this one, the end fall off to be 0. So now if I go and do all splines, this should have sculpted the terrain in a way where they're almost meeting. I'm just going to pull this out a little bit further. There we go. So now it's a pretty seamless transition between, or transition, joint, I would say, join, yeah, between the two roads. And this one also sculpted it all the way back to here, which is good. And this particular one, I'm actually going to try and move it forward and do an end fall off of maybe 500. It's not, I mean, this one could be masked with some decals. I'm not too worried about that. I was just wondering how I can make this one smoother. But yeah, it's no biggie. There's some decals right here that I'm going to be able to use. There we go. I just pulled that out of that one level. I just wanted to use this one like around here, like the end of the road. Just like that. Oh, no, I did not want to delete that level. Hey, Burk Osman, welcome, welcome. You can add virtual texture on road spline mesh would be, yes, oh, totally. And this is some stupid crap Unreal. Like I deleted the level instance, but I can't undo. Sometimes you kind of like, oh man, who's behind some of these decisions? Uh, yeah, the one thing with that, because I was thinking about doing that too, and I do have the possibility to add it. It's just the only issue with that is kind of how the mesh itself is. Like I think it has to be a little bit more bumpy, so that way you can set what the blending could be. You know, like how far it's gonna blend. And for flat meshes like this, I was never able to get that done. So yeah. All right. Well, let me add that level instance back in for the warehouse because again, undo doesn't really work sometimes in Unreal. All right. So warehouse, delivery warehouse should be this one. And I cannot recall if I had to set it to 000. Let's actually go into this level and fix it. Because depending on, you know, whenever you add a level instance into the world, it's like, let's look at it from here, right? This is 000, where you want to have you want to have these assets, and mine were all the way back there. So I would have to position it. The positioning it would have been just a big hassle. So I want to have them as close to the 0 location here as possible. So let's look at it from the side. They're kind of underground. So I'm just going to place them here. All right, so let's save this level, and then I'm going to go back into my main level. And this is going to, with what I mentioned earlier, for the data layers, the world is going to load much quicker because there's these extra levels that you know, they're unloaded. I don't need them to have loaded because I'm not working on them anyways. So that's also an advantage to the data layers. All right. And in here, let's see, did I add that or did that? I think it might have been this one. Where is that paste here? There we go. So this is what I was talking about with the level instance. Can just position this a lot easier once everything inside of it is at 0, 0. So I'm just going to adjust it with these little useful things down here. There we go. I'm guessing, let's see, maybe I need to move it up a little bit. Yeah, that's it. There. Okay. So that works. I'm just going to need to sculpt the terrain a little bit to adjust it for that. I did it on my project. Also take slightly getters, landscape pattern. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. That's what I was thinking. The one thing that that I did to at least help with that is I'm using kind of this gravel material on the side of the road, so just to kind of blend in with the rest of this. So I wouldn't want to have this one blend out. I kind of like it that way. To me, it's just it's not so much as the extra complexity of the shader, but it's just kind of how my mesh is. That's uh that's the one reason I wanted to keep it like this. All right, let me move these out a little bit more towards the road because this is straight going that way. So I'm gonna move these a little bit forward this way to about there. There we go. Maybe a little more. Okay, that's good. Hey, Piero, welcome, welcome. Um, well, I started the project in Unreal because this is my second engine, but I started the project in 20 around the middle of 2018, and it's started from zero because um I had literally no knowledge of Unreal. Of the previous engine that I was working with was a CryEngine, so I had no knowledge of Unreal at the time. And factor in learning curve and all that. Yeah, and of course working on it part time. It will take longer, but it definitely is a lot of fun. So I I highly recommend it. All right, let me adjust these a little bit. I'm not entirely sure. I need to have this a little bit higher up to about there, maybe. There we go. Hey, Supun, when we showcase our environment, is it good to create all the assets, materials, textures, and oh yeah, totally. And I fully agree with you. It's um, I mean, it's how people get hired, you know. Imran, cryogenist, I mean, yeah, I think it is. I haven't seen anything new being built with it. Like sometimes I stop by the Discord to see if there's anything new. Not a lot of stuff, unfortunately. I know I think they're gonna do I think they're gonna jump to CryEngine 6 because right now it's like 5.7, like a long-term support type of thing for the last few years, maybe more than a few years. And there's maybe there's some development in the back end that they're doing. But again, they're gonna come up with the shiny thing and no support for it. So that's what's gonna be probably everybody's gonna be happy about getting it, but it's yeah. It was a fun experience, I have to say. I've learned a lot, but at the same time, I wasted a lot of time. So I'm not sure what to take from it, to be honest. I wish I would have listened to some of my friends that had already moved to Unreal earlier, but yeah, it's hard. Adamski, what was your programming skills like before starting? Actually, when I started with CryEngine, I I was just getting done with college. So for college, I went for a software engineering degree, and with CryEngine, again, I kind of didn't go probably the right way because I went for the shiny things. I was just trying to build a world and like play around within that. On hindsight, I should have gone for like seeing what mechanics, what engine has like the easiest mechanics to build a game, right? I wasn't going for like, any kind of art stuff or, I mean, um, I wasn't planning on just creating art, like creating like doing level designs and all that. I wanted to make a video game, and I should have looked at what can be done in the engine and how easy can you do the things that I wanted to do. And unfortunately, I didn't do that, and so that I got kind of bit by that once I started doing it, and that was like a little bit later on. But yeah, I did learn some C++ programming through CryEngine, so at least I'm grateful for that experience. And after that, between my work, between the college, doing a lot of the software engineering, things came easy when I was going into blueprints. So, I mean, Adamski, when it comes to programming skills, I use what a friend of mine said, I'm good enough to be dangerous. So, yeah, but you know, I'm probably like I would say I'm no programming whiz. I can read code and understand stuff, but I'm far from like any kind of expert level type of stuff. So, with this stuff, I'm really passionate about. So I think it comes a lot easier to learn when you're like passionate about something. Yikes, what did I just do? I stopped crying. I stopped crying 5 years ago. Yeah, I mean, the way I did it was they kept pushing back a release, like Crytek was, and I thought, you know what? Let me just try and see what Unreal has to offer. And I think within a month or two, I was hooked, and I had done like more progress in that period of time than I did in like years with CryEngine. So at that point, I was like, okay, this is it. This is I'm all in with Unreal. Yeah, being a Unity dev, having way too much interest in your work. Well, Corsair, it's you know, the way I look at it, they're both the same, tools to achieve the same goal, right? Making a video game. So at the end of the day, when it comes to playing a video game, I don't care so much about what engine it or what engine it was made in if it's enjoyable. Of course, there is, good, bad video games out there, no matter what the engine was. Um, like when I'm thinking of CryEngine, I'm thinking of Crysis, right? I think everybody is. I'm also thinking of Rise. Not sure if anybody played like that Gladiator game, I think the name of it was it Rise. Yeah. So that one was also a really fun game and looked really good, performed really well. But again, at the end of the day, is like um, if you're a developer, what's the tool that is easiest to use to make a video game? Yeah. Um, we're definitely right, but Unity just incapable of handling high-end graphics. Meanwhile, Unreal just born with it. Well, I think that's where I think that's that was their whole type of thing, approach. We were for like um, built for mobile platforms, and then they try to move into like the high end, with some of their like high definition rendering pipeline and all that in Unity. I'm not sure if they're a little too late, and some of their latest policies have just pushed developers away. So Piero, can we have a rendering? What do you mean? Just kind of jump into game and go about doing something? Let me know. I can do that. All right. Well, let me add some of the ends over there. Where was one of those pieces? Oh yeah. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I just wanted to add this in here. Um, this corner piece. I wouldn't say maybe not a corner, but it's kind of like an end piece here. So this one. Okay, there we go. We have something of an entrance that looks a little bit, kind of a transition between that. Unity water system is still not even comparing. Oh, cool. Well, I mean, if hopefully, is that a good thing for Unreal or a bad thing for Unreal? And Ram, how you organize your files? Can you show? They're messy, I have to say. Like they're really messy. The because I do have. I don't want to show you this because I don't want to show you the wrong way to do it because I'm a single developer. So with my Git repository, if I was to share that with somebody, people will like be like, "Oh, you're horrible. You shouldn't be doing it this way." Because as you can see, I have a bunch of packages here that I'm using things out of, and I never spend the time to move, like for example, the HQ Retro farmhouse from what I'm using the basement to move that under assets. But the stuff that's organized, this is how it's organized. Um, like in here I have, audio, blueprints, characters, dialogue stuff, effects, font, the maps, material layers, materials, um, and um, and for the world itself, most of them are in level instances, and that's very bare bones type of description, type of thing to show. Supun, do you have any advices how to work productively when working with other artists? If I'm a 3D environment artist, um, well, I would say the uh, the one level per actor is really good. And so whenever you have like this world, like for example, this particular level instance, and I need to rename this to be um, warehouse. So whenever you have a level instance, you want to set this level to be um, um, let's actually go into one of these real quick. So I'll show you. Piero, just one extra minute. Sorry. I just wanted to show Supun something real quick as far as how I'm setting things up. So in here, under for your level, let me see, where did I put that at? So under world settings, what I'm using is the one level per one actor per what was the name of it? Level. Oh, come on, actor or something. What was it called? Use external actors. So um, that's how it's easiest to track and have multiple people work on the same level. Um, and then, if they use a repository, then easily commit their changes that way. So that's what I'm using for all my levels. It's also necessary for like the world partition um, to use external actors. Well, I'm not sure if it's completely necessary, but it's kind of like it throws an error whenever you load in here. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Because one of my levels is not using external actors, and you would get something like this. I'll show you here. So in here, you would get something complaining about, this particular level instance is not using external actors. So if you go with world partition and you have all these level instances, to kind of easily keep track of, separate little areas, separate little levels, like I have here, I have the warehouse, I have the this grocery store, I have this one used to be one of them, but I kind of broke it down. But actors, level instances like that is a lot easier to manage things. And one person can work on this at the same time as another person working on this. And it makes it a lot easier to work with other actors that way, with other artists, if you're working on the same, kind of main world kind of thing. And Bork, yeah, I saw the same plugin and I do have it. It's this one right here. Well, at least there's like a few of them. This project cleaner. But yeah, again, it's one of those things to use with care. But a lot of them, a lot of these I'm already using. So it's a matter of cleaning this up and moving things into like this assets folder, for example. The reason that I like to keep them like this, and is because sometimes I can make some mistakes or something on like one of these packages, and it's easy to just import it from the marketplace again and just overwrite my mistake instead of going through Git and finding that particular place where I did that commit and reverting back to that commit. Who knows what other changes or what other things I break. Most of the times for me, Git is a way to, if I break something in a blueprint and completely crashes the engine, I can revert back to a previous version that way. That's what I mostly use Git for. And also kind of just keeping this, if I travel and I work on a different computer, I can just clone the repository and work on it that way. But okay, Piero, let's get into shooting something and navigating a little bit around the map. All right, so kind of just the loading screen. That's where you greeted to. Um, yeah. Oh, 200 gigs. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty big, I have to say. But I mean, we're talking about different scales for projects here, so that I can totally get that. Okay, well, let me just go full screen here and pick up a rifle. I just wanted to show you a little bit of how like the interior lighting looks around here, just so you can get an idea how some of the interiors are going to look. There's going to be some mini games in the project. Let's actually grab this bow as well. Like for example, this one here where you can play Tappy Chicken. It's a little bit blown out the exposure in this basement, so that's why it looks a little bit bright. But you know, you'd be able to kind of maneuver. You can see that that little thing is just like there at the top. But yeah, I just need to fix it so it works a little bit, looks a little bit better. Um, no, so I have it turned off, Imran. Actually think I had it turned off. I'll have to check. Thank you so much for asking me, but I believe I turned it off. Um, all right, so let's take care of some of the bad guys, and we'll walk around a little more. I'm not a very big kind of shooter person, but all right, so there they go. And like I said, like the blood splatters would splash behind them once uh, once that is in place. And, oh yeah, I hate motion blur too. I don't like it. But like I said, I think I had that. I honestly think that I had that disabled. I have to check. But thank you so much for bringing that up. So that's how the menu looks as well. When it comes to the missions, this is how they get displayed. Like this person that I need to find is somewhere back here. And of course, you can show that little device on the left or hide it just pressing Q for quests. So let's see where this person is. This is kind of how you get around the world as far as the direction and the mapping. And I think this person is right back here. And the skeleton, I need to replace the skeleton for this guy. And so this is how the interactions work. Uh, sh she does not have the initial message, but whenever you start, this is how you get the device. Basically the one that you currently see on the left-hand side. You don't have that, but once you land into the world, and actually I should show you how that starts as well. Uh, yes, uh, that's a dudette. So it's a woman. But again, like um, the body does not have material applied to it or any clothes. So yeah. But yeah, let me show you how you actually start it when you start the game itself. And where is it? Open level blueprint. So I just want to run this into not developer mode. Let's see. Hopefully I didn't introduce any troubles, but here we go. Um, how long have you been working on this project? Well, so as far as mechanics, most of it is in place. I still need to do a lot of work on optimizing things, but that's actually coming along. And well, so I started it on around the middle of 2018. That's when I started working on this. But part-time hobby like type of stuff. Get done with work and um, work on this project. Learn Unreal, and yeah, so maybe 5 years, 5.5 years or so, 6. Let's see. I think right now we can say 6 years. All right, so Piero, once you start the game, you start the campaign. This is kind of how it starts. There's like a flight sequence, and along the flight path, you can there's a couple of places where you can jump out of this airplane, and apparently I can't interact with it. So, once you jump out of the airplane, the path itself, it's kind of like winding across the map, right? So it kind of goes around the map, and it's not in its final position just yet. But so you're gonna have three choices to jump out of the airplane. Depending on the point that you jump out of, the game is gonna start a little bit different. Like the first missions are gonna be a little bit different, and they're gonna join into a single thread basically. But once you jump out of the airplane, you fall down. For example, like this is one of the jump points here. So you fall down, and once you get up, this guy over here is going to signal you, hey, come over here, and he's going to give you the tablet. And that's how you're going to get your missions and also, kind of your compass type of locator to know where to go. Um, so that's why I wanted to do it that way to keep the UI minimal, and that's what I thought that I wanted to do it like this. Um, let's see, what do you think about Sons of Forest? That game has stunning environments. I think I've seen some videos on it, but I never played it because I don't play multiplayer games. So I think I've just seen it as it was like a promotional thing when Sons of Forest 2 was coming out or is coming out. And yeah, I've only seen like promotional stuff. I've never played it, but yeah, that game looks really cool. So what's the lore behind this? Well, so you got these bad guys that you've already seen. They got all these like kind of military equipment around here. They're kind of locking down this area, and you need to figure out what are they doing with these people? Why are these people like and there's like that factory over here, so which is like enclosed in that space. So a lot of people are being taken there for work. And what are they working on? Or that's where you need to find out. And kind of that's going to lead you into like a deeper part of the story as well as you progress through the missions. Yeah. Um, Imran, so kind of in a short sentence, hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea, a little bit of details, you know, not too much, not too little. All right. Well, let's continue on and try and get this area, you know, um, sorted out a little bit. I'll paint a little bit of mulch around here. So yeah, I think, at the end of the day, it's, like you've seen, there's the same type of similar thread as like a few of the games that I really took inspiration from, Days Gone and Far Cry 5, right? So I mean, all the Far Cries have like the bad guys, and they're doing something bad to the people in the area. Um, you know, Days Gone more from like the aspect of the environment, to some extent, because that one is just kind of a zombie game, basically kind of post-apocalyptic game. But but yeah, the environment, this kind of northern forest type of environments is. what I love, what maybe one of the reasons why I love those two games so much. The oh yeah, Days Gone is a masterpiece. I mean, I wish there was like I think some kind of scandal that happened recently with one of their developers, and I wish that hasn't happened because I think that kind of killed their um, the possibility of a new one being made. I think they're still talking about it, but that game, I don't really play too many games to like completion, like all the side missions, all the little tasks that are, you know, somewhat related. Um, and but Days Gone was just the horde mechanics, everything else is just I don't know why, but I that game I really loved it. All right, let's paint a little bit more around here, like the side of the road. And we'll try and simulate the vegetation, see how it turns out. All the foliage, hey, Any Scout, welcome, hello. All the foliage of that game is created by one guy. Oh, you mean in Days Gone? That's pretty cool. I mean, I think Ben's studio, that's the studio that made it. They're not the very big shop, but yeah, I felt bad that you know, it doesn't look like there's going to be at least at this point, Days Gone 2, and I'm really bummed out by it. And it was one of those games that I never got for like like a few years. Like I think I got it last year, first time and played it. And it came out in like 2016 or something, I think. So it's been around for a while. All right, let's proceduralize some trees. Uh, oh, that's so cool, Imran. Congrats. That's awesome to have a kid to share your passion to share in your passion. That's awesome. I love that. Any Scout, this map looks like it could be a really good zombie or survival game. Yeah, I mean, again, similarities to Far Cry 5 when I'm seeing the map. That one wasn't so. I guess it was a. I guess you could call it was a survival game. Maybe more of an action game. But yeah. All right, we got some trees on that side. That's cool. Oh, Last of Us. I that was a game that I never got around to playing, to be really honest. I've always wanted to. I'm not sure for whatever reason, just never got around to playing it. Because I think everybody that I know has played it. Um, and I haven't. Sad. All right, there we go. Let's just add this over on that side. Oh, stylized environments. That's actually pretty cool. I was every time I look at some of those, because we get some of these free stylized packages on the marketplace, and I'm like, oh man, the work that went into that shader must have been crazy because they're so cool looking, and I can't even I don't really have the understanding for shaders as to how did they make that. So yeah, all the stylized shaders are just really, really cool. I love this rock. So this is again a package that I bought because mainly because of these rocks. It's it's pretty hard to find some decent rocks that you can use, and just one mesh you can build like an entire thing. What do you think of Resident Evil 2? I actually, that's another game that I've never really played. I think I played like the old first Resident Evil that came out. I'm not entirely even sure how long ago. But after that, I haven't played the more recent ones. Now, because there's also the confusion, like, did they start with is the Resident Evil 2 like the one that just came out like recently? I can't remember. Brooke, have you ever made a live broadcast on TikTok or considered? I've never thought of it because I never really saw TikTok as a, um, you know, kind of streaming platform when it comes to development. Um, I kind of see it as okay, there might be streaming going on for like, political commentary and, like kind of influencers type of stuff where they show you like some kind of clothes to buy or something like that, or they're like in front of some kind of thing going on somewhere. I never really thought of it as a platform to stream development. Are people doing it? So Enron, none of the rocks are using nanite. I don't have any nanite in here. This is just a rock with detail map to it. So that's why it kind of looks like that. And yeah, the advantage is just being able to like rotate it around, and it's got a bunch of different shapes to it, so it's got some variety. And then we can also add one of these kind of at the bottom of some of those to break up the line, this kind of just line going across like this. And something that I've shown you guys previously that I use, let me see, where did I put it? Put some of them last time. Don't forget to save. There we go, some of these. Oh, I'd have to check it. It's kind of like a matter of whether I stream there or here. I know there's a way that you can stream simultaneously on Twitch and YouTube with some kind of tools, but I haven't tried that. And mainly because of where Twitch seems to be going with its content. Um, I don't really like. I mean, not that YouTube is far from it, but um, it's also like most of my subscribers are here on YouTube, and I feel it's a lot easier to stream it here, you know? Okay, there we go. We have some debris at the bottom of these, just to break things up a little bit. And for example, this is where I'm using, like for meshes like this, I'm using runtime virtual textures. Yeah, well, there you go. That's a good point. That's a good point, Burke. Um, I'm I was thinking about that. At least for the time being, these short these streaming these kind of these live streams can kind of work as a devlog, um, but um, but I totally get what you're saying with uh, with having um, some actual just like a video that's 15, 20 minutes to give like updates on things. So yeah, I like that. And I was kind of thinking about that. Um, but so I might start doing it because I like that idea. A little bit of a shorter format. Not as long as this stream would be, but something that could be short enough for people to just stop by and okay, these are the latest updates. Cool, 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 cool. You know? Oh, and yeah, totally, totally. I mean, I'm still quite a ways for playtest, but I um, I'm I'm definitely going to do it. I just need to figure out a way to present it. Like to um, to present the updates in a way that doesn't is focused. Supun, have you played RDR2? Is that Red Dead Redemption? Um, I have not. I keep on seeing it on sales and like good sales, like price gets to like 20 bucks or even cheaper. And I just never get around to doing it. I'm not sure. I was never like a really big fan of like Western games, even though, you know, that game is just amazing. Like I watched videos of people playing it, probably not for too long, but that thing is just impressive. I mean, I can only imagine the thousands of people that were involved in making it, or like everything else that goes into that game is just amazing. So I definitely have it on my list, kind of my list to the list to play games. But yeah, I never got around to doing it because whenever even now, uh, if the game it doesn't like capture my whole undivided attention, it's this is what I'm gonna do. So after work or something, I sometimes I enjoy doing this more than actually playing a game. Uh, hopefully, hopefully that makes sense to folks, but it's hard to explain. Sometimes you're just so passionate about just this 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 one thing, and you're like, I don't feel like doing anything else. So maybe that's one of the reasons that I'm still doing this, like I didn't get bored of it. Let's get some grass up in here. There we go. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Imran. Like I said, the one thing that I'm trying to figure out is how to, I guess, how to deliver the news, right? It's kind of uh, it's is what comes to mind. When did you start creating environments? I started because I wanted to create a game environment so bad. So I think this part was the one thing that translated really well from CryEngine into Unreal. And kind of everything that I did in CryEngine was also it helped when I started, doing this in Unreal. And yeah, there we go. Oh, that's pretty cool. So for sure, this so in that regards, I would say, 10 years ago. And when it comes to like the tools and everything else, because there's like a lot of tools that go into even with, game environments. Like I was showing a little bit earlier, this the spline system that I have to create, just these electric poles around the world, and off of these electric poles, then you have the side street poles, which are a little bit different, so they all link into one another dynamically. And if you just need to set up the spline along the road, and all of them are going to link together like kind of dominoes, if that's a good analogy. Then you're going to link them to the houses so they look like, it's a functioning world. Then, cables would link into maybe like a, power station down here. So, maybe, bigger electrical poles, posts. And all of that, I think, using all these tools, being able to use all these tools can help you a lot. So I think, um, along with just building the world, try and look at that. I think that should help you out quite a bit. All right. Well, guys, we're getting close to kind of the 2 hour mark that I like to run the streams on, and I think we ended up being quite productive today. And at least everything that I had set to do, we um, we did. Kind of this, creating this area out here. I'm guessing I'm just missing this little piece here. So let me just get that in and try and adjust this a little bit better on this side. There. Okay. Atlantica, do you ever take time away from working on the game to just walk through the world? Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes I do that. Not probably not for too long of a period of time, but half an hour here, 20 minutes there, and most of it is just kind of walking around for like, performance type of checks. Let's see, come on. These are kind of like the tougher bits to try and position sometimes. Luckily, with some of these grasses, they cover the joints a little bit better. Not perfect, but decent enough. There we go. That's pretty good. Getting that corner in there. Um, yeah, so Imran, I'm not sure if you were able to hear it, but like right now there's just a basic, kind of birds chirping and like wind type of stuff. It's not very definitely not the final. Actually, let me just do so it's not the develop. I can do it. Go to development mode here. So I'll turn up the volume on my desktop. Let me know if you can hear it once I jump into game. Yeah, and doing that in the virtual world, but also in the real world is one of the best things ever. Yeah, that's one thing that I tell all my friends. I don't care about cars or anything like that. Fancy stuff. If I can save money to travel, that's the one thing they're gonna remember. Once you're old, you're gonna remember the places you travel, not you know, some kind of clothes you bought or kind of a nice car or anything like that. Oh yeah, here. I'm gonna shut up for a little bit and turn up the desktop audio. Not sure how well you can hear that, Imran, or anybody else. I can crank it up a little bit more. I'm not sure how much of that comes through OBS. It's about 75% of the volume in OBS. Oh, cool. I think the volume on that is not very loud. Um, so that's the one thing that's it's not it might not be the best. And the one thing that I want to do is whenever you walk inside like an environment, I just need to turn those down. So for example, if you walk inside the basement, I want to turn the volume down on the exterior and, kind of just, um, not have it be so loud. Hey, Realm, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. Very immersive. I hope I again. I appreciate one sale. Yes. Anybody else? Hey, Raku, welcome. Yeah, so whenever you're inside, that's what I wanted to do is kind of just decrease the volume from the exterior and yeah. So, once you go outside, it would like you'd start hearing it again basically. And I've already implemented something to that extent, and it works pretty good, but I need to probably refine it a little bit more. Yes. There we go. Do you have our station profile? Yeah, I think if you look up my name, just like the name of the channel, I think you should be able to find me. Oh, any scout. I got lost in my own game and now I'm a little scared because I lost the most. Oh no. Oh no. Well, you'll find it. I'm sure you will. Okay. Well, so there we go. Let's see. I think we got everything that we wanted to do for this little warehouse areas around here. Um, Maybe we can do this piece over here just so that it looks a little bit complete. There we go. Okay, not too bad. I can just sculpt this out to get rid of that corner there. There we go. Cool. Okay. Um, yeah, so I think we got everything that we have set to do today. There's actually coming up to 2 hours right now. And Yeah, so the road is actually I'm pretty happy how it turned out. I'm still debating whether to keep it like as a bend over here. It still looks a little bit, I want to say funky, but it looks a little, uh, I'm not sure. I'll see, maybe I can give it the same treatment as these roads over here, where there's like we got these corners, and I can just apply that dirt material to it. I'll give that I'll spend a couple of minutes on that and see if it's worth doing it that way. If not, this is it, like in that fashion. Yeah, Imran, yeah, go right ahead. Yeah, totally, totally. Thank you so much for sending that over. Okay, well, I think that's going to be it for today, guys. Speaking about going out and walking, it's actually pretty nice out here, even though, as you can see, it says 43 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty, it's not that warm, but it's kind of sunny. So, yeah, that's always good to relax your mind for, go through a walk in the woods. That's one of the things, that I've been able to take a lot of inspiration from this area, is a lot of woods. So there you go. Yeah, but y'all have a great rest of your Sunday. Actually, it's Sunday today. Yeah, a great rest of your Sunday or Monday morning in some cases. And I will see you next week. Hope you all have a great week. Okay, so take care, be safe, and see you in a week. All right, bye everybody. And my pleasure, Sipun. Glad they were helpful.